What's up, average dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And today, it's review time. The review of one of the best phones of last year. We'll get into that. It's the Honor Magic V2. Yes, the global edition has been out for around a month now. And as you all know, if you've watched any of my videos, I've had the V2 4 separate times. And I've loved every time. But does the Honor Magic V2 Global hold up in 2024 when the competition might just be too far ahead? Let's go. Now, like all average dad review videos, there's 5 categories to score the device on: build quality, design, software and internals, camera, and then price. 5 points available in each category. So without further ado, let's talk about the build quality. Now, for build quality specifically, I am not talking dimensions or design. I am purely talking the materials, protection and durability of the device. Now, holding the device taken out of the box is just a thing of beauty. The aluminium frame with the leather black back, or glass back if you go for the purple global version, it feels super premium. And obviously, the feeling in the hand, because it is so thin that we'll talk about, and I'm going to put that in the design, is great. There's a large outer 6.4 inch display with an inner 7.9 inch display. But where the phone lets itself down in build quality is not going for Gorilla Glass, not going for an IP rating. So unfortunately, because there's no official waterproof or even splash proof on the V2, there's no Corning Gorilla Glass. There is a glass shield protection from Honor, and to be fair, I will score this based on my use. The installed screen protector, even that has no scratches on it. The inner screen with its screen protector has no signs of wear or tear. So in my experience, it has held up nicely over the past month. But I have had an example of an Honor Magic V2 with vertical white lines, black spots, after 6 months. Now, yes, this was a Chinese version, but folks, hardware is exact same. And I have to factor that into build quality, because I'm honest. I could sit here and say, look, my experience, I've had it a month and it's been great. And while that would be true, knowing that someone else is having a bad experience with the build quality, I have to tell you about it. So, with all that being said, build quality is going to be, I imagine, the least scoring round for the Honor Magic V2. I'm going to give it a 2. No IPX8 rating, no dust proof, no Gorilla Glass. Now, as mentioned, that's hopefully the most negative category for the V2, because I want to move on to the design round now, and this is where we talk about the dimensions, the look, the feel of the device, and straight out the box, it's just mind-blowing. Every single time you pick up the device. So for context, I obviously switch my phones a lot. I go between the S24 Ultra, the OnePlus 12, many other devices, the OnePlus Open. But when I come back to the Honor Magic V2, I am every time blown away with how thin and light this foldable device is. To recap, 9.9mm folded, 5.4mm unfolded, and just over 230 grams. Just mind-blowing considering this has 2 displays, folks. And a 5000 milliamp hour battery. We'll talk about that soon. Now on the rear, I've gone for the vegan leather black option, and I love it. No fingerprints, no smudges, gives you extra grip. So for me, that's my preferred option. But if you did go for the glossier back version in that purple colour, even that, purple's not my favourite colour, but it still looks absolutely stunning. So as far as design, how can I not give this a 5? It is and will remain to the end of 2024, mark my words, it will remain the thinnest and lightest foldable device. Now, moving on to software and internals, and I'm going to include the stylus pen in here because it's kind of software. Go with me here, it's the only round I can fit in. The Honor Magic V2 gets a point straight away for having stylus support, both on the outer and inner screen, something that not many foldable phones do nowadays. The Honor also gets points for having the largest battery in a foldable device, 5,000 milliamp hours. The carbon batteries split into two are like not much thicker than credit cards. It's unreal how they've managed to do this. And paired with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and we will talk about that in a second, but paired with that chip, it is a day to 2 day phone. You'll really struggle to kill it within a day unless you're playing Moonlight Blade. Moonlight Blade is a cult classic multiplayer online role-playing game. Now, this has been created with tremendous love and attention to detail, ensuring to keep that traditional Chinese style. And you can get Moonlight Blade now for free. Now, as you already know, any Average Dads fans will know that I am no hardcore gamer, but downloading this game, picking it up, setting it up was super easy, and the gameplay itself was really easy to follow with battle sequences that rival anything I've ever seen. Now, the multiple settings and the overall graphics are AAA standard, and the amount of customization you can do for your own unique character is second to none. Now, Average Dad is always looking to save you money, so simply scan this QR code and download Moonlight Blade for free now. No fees whatsoever. Now, other key benefits of Moonlight Blade is that it is a huge open world where you can roam around on your own, join quests, meet up with friends, and have some player versus player action. Now, once you're all set up and ready to go, make sure to regularly check the official Moonlight Blade site. The link is in description. Any updates or upcoming events will be posted on this page. So, download Moonlight Blade right now. QR code is here. Once you've clicked that, search for me, Average Dad, and if I'm online, come and join me in a quest. Let's get back to the V2 review. Now, as much as the battery is going to last you for a long time, and I'm super impressed, as mentioned, it's paired with the 8 Gen 2 chip. Now, on the face of it, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip is still an absolute flagship chipset. The speed, performance, efficiencies, it's all fantastic. But the Honor Magic V2 Global released in 2024. 3 or 4 months into the life cycle of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip. So I can't possibly say that this is a top tier chip anymore, which is a shame. Yes, the V2 was out 8 months ago, and at the time, when I done the review of the Chinese version, I said this was an absolute beast, because the 8 Gen 2 chip was the best you could get. The fact that Honor have released the global version and changed nothing about the hardware, software, or internals, I have to take a point off for that. Now, other internals and software-wise, I did mention that there's stylus support on the outer and inner. You can use the stylus support for handwriting, for drawing. It won't work with the camera, sadly, unlike the S Pen for the Z Fold 5, but there's some functionality there and I like it. And with macOS 8 coming soon, who knows what upgrades that'll have for stylus support. And as far as multitasking goes, it's your usual foldable multitasking. There's split screen, vertical, horizontal. You can have up to 2 floating windows and a 2 split screen, so 4 apps open at the same time. The 8 Gen 2 chip handles that really well. For me, the OnePlus Open still has the best multitasking, followed closely probably by the Samsung, but the Honor Magic V2 is not bad. And then, macOS. Caveat, macOS 8 is coming out in the next well, it's out on Honor Magic 6 Pro and it'll be on the V2 this month at some point, if not in the next couple of weeks. But I can only score the software on what I have available. And right now, Magic OS 7 ain't in the top 5 or even 7 Android skins. It's sometimes a bit too buggy. It sometimes looks a bit childlike. Yes, there's customization features, but not as much as you're going to get on HyperOS or Color or Oxygen OS. Certainly nothing like Samsung's One UI with the Good Lock app. It's hard because look, it's not a bad skin per se. There's just way better out there. And then the features, obviously it's global, so you get Android features like Android Auto and Nearby Share and Quick Share, and that's all fine. But there's just nothing to separate Magic OS as it is just now. There's no AI, for example. Now, that is going to be a buzzword of 2024, but artificial intelligence is the big thing. The S24 Ultra that I have my SIM card in daily is so bloomin' handy for finding out random stuff about pictures I've taken or who this celebrity is. It's so handy for translation if I'm speaking to a colleague or in a meeting with someone that maybe English isn't their first language. With the Honor, you don't get any of that. There's no magic eraser in the photo app. It's just lacking. And again, some of this is going to come in Magic OS 8, but it's not there now. So, internals and software is Jekyll and Hyde. I have to score this based on 2024, not 2023 when it was released. And in 2024, I'm really sorry, Honor, but I have to give it a 2. Chip's too old, software's outdated. I'm sorry. So far, after 3 categories, pains me to say this, we're at 9 out of 15 points. Now moving on to the penultimate round, which is cameras. The cameras on the Honor Magic V2 are a mixed bag. In my opinion, the main 50 megapixel sensor is up there with any other foldable phone's main lens. It truly is. The colours, the sharpness, saturation, everything to me on default mode is just on point, and I love the look of this. On a really bright day like it is today, randomly in Scotland, I think these photos look fantastic. And from the ultra-wide 50 megapixel, these were essentially lifted from the Magic 5 Pro, which was one of my phones of the year last year, so it was always going to be good. Where the Honor V2 does let itself down is on a lens that I put a lot of weight into, and that's the zoom lens. It's a 20 megapixel, 2.5 times optical zoom lens. Now to put this in perspective, my Honor Magic 6 Pro should be here in the next couple of days. It also has a 2.5 times optical zoom, but it's paired with a 180 megapixel lens. That's the best telephoto lens, bar none, specs-wise, ever. Yeah? So the fact that this is a 20 megapixel 2.5x just limits what you can do. With the Magic 6 Pro, 10x is going to look stunning. Basically lossless zoom. With this Honor Magic V2, anything past that 2.5 times optical starts to look a bit soft, let's say. And anything at 10x plus is just almost unusable. But if you're in that sweet spot of 2.5x to maybe 5 or 6 times, you can get really, really usable shots. Now it is 4K recording and I do like the stability. Bit too much noise, even on a super bright day, when it comes to like direct sun videography. If you're facing the sun, colours get really washed out that I can see here and on the selfie camera. And I've done a dedicated night mode video that I'll link in the description. night video and photos are not great on the Honor Magic V2. It gets kind of crushed by the OnePlus Open. So again, I feel like this is a theme and a trend here, but I have to be honest. As an overall camera system, the Honor Magic V2 is not bad, but it's not great, and it's barely even good. I am going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. And now we come to the final round, price. I have talked about my previous 3 or 4 V2s and talked about how great the price was because I was importing from WONDA Mobile, which by the way you can still do. You can still get a Chinese version with a Chinese ROM which has its own quirks, but a hell of a lot cheaper than you can get the global V2. The global V2 has been released for £1,699. Now that is the RRP, folks, so I have to mention that. Now, will you actually pay that? No. As I sit here right now, Honor have a £300 off voucher plus £200 off if you trade in. But between you and I, you don't actually have to trade in anything. I don't know why, it must be some way getting around it on the website, but as soon as you click on yes to trade in, it even tells you you do not need to trade in a phone. It'll take another £200 off. So that leaves the Honor Magic V2 at £1,200. And because it's a half terabyte version, I actually think that price is pretty damn good. And that price is not much more expensive than importing a Chinese ROM. So for that price, it's a fantastic deal. The issue I have is if for whatever reason those vouchers are not available, or if only the £200 off is available, yeah, this phone is not worth £1,500 in 2024. It's only just worth the £1,200, maybe £1,300. And because of the crazy way Honor do things with their marketing and release schedules, the Honor Magic V3 will most likely be out in China and available to import in 4 months for less than £1,200 or £1,300 when you import it. So, for all that reasons, again, it's a bit of a mix here because I do still think the price is good with all the vouchers applied. But because time's getting on with the Honor, I'm going to score the price as a 3. It's certainly still a good deal. It's certainly the same price, if not cheaper, than the OnePlus Open, the Z Fold 5, and it's definitely a better foldable than the Z Fold 5, but not as good as the OnePlus Open. So I'm putting it at 3 out of 5. So, there we have it. If my calculations are correct, and I'll pop a little asterisk if they're not, out of 25 points, the Honor Magic V2 has scored 14.5. Unfortunately, that is the lowest score any phone has had since I started the points-based scoring system. So if you looked at it purely objectively on paper, you would think, oh, well, it's obviously a bad phone, it's a bad deal. It's hard for me to explain over video, but until you feel and use the device, it's not a bad phone. It is a good device, but make of the score what you will. Hopefully this has made some sense to you. Hopefully you've enjoyed this more in-depth review. And until next time,